Goshen, California, town of 5,000, straddles State Route 99, which is heavily trafficked commercial corridor, I'm told, connecting Interstate 5, which goes from the Mexican border
I live 1
to
mile
California.
from the 99. So
okay, so this is by you. This is just January 16th, 3:38 in the morning. 6 people shot dead execution style. A 72-year-old woman who was asleep in her bed, a teenage mother and her baby, who were each shot point blank in their heads, and a 19-year-old man who often stayed up late playing video games. The baby was 10 months old. This is how the article describes the mother and the baby being killed. The woman's name is Alyssa Paraz, 16, who tried to flee only to be cornered by a gunman who stood over her as she clutched her baby, Nicholas, and fired rounds into their heads. 4 generations of a single family murdered. Now, the acknowledgement is there that some of the members of this murdered family had been involved in gangs, according to the police, who also say these murders are the calling card of the Mexican drug cartels, that their tentacles have extended in recent years from the border regions and up and up and up into the farthest reaches of the country. This is cartel action in a U.S. state, and it's unusual, correct me if I'm wrong, because normally even the cartels don't kill the women and the babies.
I think that's kind of not operative, that idea anymore. The cartels, I think, are capable of anything. And the biggest thing that I find frightening is that no one wants to talk about it, because, and I'll give you an example. I have to be very careful that there's a person that I know who works in my town, Mexican American, and she told me that a gang member was attacking her son because he didn't speak Spanish. She got angry and reported that person as illegal. That person went back to Mexico and called her on a cell phone and said, "We know where you are, we know your house, and we're coming." And she's terrified. And so there's a new atmosphere in rural California that either law enforcement can't handle it or won't handle it, or scared themselves of it, but there's no protection. What I'm getting at is, if you do something, if you're a drug dealer and you work with the cartels, or you're doing what I'm doing right now, talking, and you mention the cartels in any detail, then that's a very dangerous thing to do, because there's not going to be anybody on the American side of law enforcement that can protect you. Even if they want to, they can't. And this is all a result of sending 5 million people into the United States since Joe Biden took office, and not deporting anybody. And the thing about Trump was that he tried and tried and tried, and he was undermined by people within his own administration, the courts, the left. But finally, right on the eve of COVID, he was successful. And he pretty much had a secure border. And once you have a secure border, then you can go back and adjudicate this person, that person, should we deport them? You have a finite number you can deal with, but we don't now. And you have no idea. So what I'm getting at is, I walked my dogs before we came on the air, Megyn, and there's a whole dryer. Somebody just came into the orchard and dropped a dryer, and that sits next to a refrigerator. And if I don't get that out very quickly, then the word will get out in the illegal community that they can dump trash at this particular spot. A month ago, I walked out and there was somebody who didn't speak English with an AR-15. From my rudimentary Spanish, he said he was out shooting squirrels for bounties. I don't know if that's true or not, but my family's been here since 1870. And I grew up with stories of my grandfather telling about his grandfather, how they conquered malaria and typhoid and the Depression. And I don't think they'd ever witnessed anything like this. And most of my family have left because of this. I'm the only one left, on the farm, and most of it's been sold off. But it's hard to live under those conditions, especially when it's politically incorrect to do what you and I are doing right now. We can't say that this is an illegal alien problem. And yet every time I pick up trash and refrigerators, which are dangerous with the doors open for kids to get into, or car seats, the literature is all in Spanish. And I mean, bills, advertisements, newspapers. And if on a rare occasion, somebody will have an address, and if I call the sheriff or the police and say, "Would you go to this address?" they won't do it. And on one occasion, I took all the trash and went over and dumped it on the guy's lawn. And he told me it wasn't his fault because there's a stealthy, illegal trash service that goes around to houses where illegals live and picks up all their trash and throws it in people's orchards or vineyards. And so it's all known to the law enforcement. And what I get really angry is when I hear Gavin Newsom do these virtue signaling lectures, sermonizing about how illiberal everybody is to bring it up and how wonderful he is from all of these enclaves that he and Pelosi and Feinstein all live at, who were the architects of the destruction of the border here in California.
Yeah, that's a good point. And what they're saying now is that it's not just where you live, that the cartels are expanding right now into more rural areas in America where they know, for the most part, they're going to be left alone by law enforcement and by others, to the point where we're all afraid to talk about what's happening because nobody wants to wind up like this poor family. Maybe they had.
It involves every little thing, though, Megyn. If you want to get a building permit, like I did for solar panel, and you get inspectors out in rural California, they're faced with a dilemma. When they see these old farmhouses that are now enclaves of illegal activity from people who were here illegally, you go in there and say, you're having porta potties, you don't have a septic system. There's 50 people living in this house in its grounds. You've got 6 trailers you pulled up. Everything here is against code. Your dogs are unlicensed. They're not vaccinated. They could carry rabies. They're coming from Mexico. Or you go over to someone like me and say, you know what, I have to do something. So, Victor, that's to get your solar permit, I need to get that shed. I need to have 1/4 inch more support on that joist so that we can, so they hyper regulate. This is the most regulated and under-regulated state at the same time because it's total chaos, and the regulatory people in this very hyper-regulate say, oh my God, it'd be dangerous. And so when you say to them, as I have, well, why don't you just go down the road? Because everything is out of code. They'll say, are you crazy? I'm not going to risk my life. And if I did find an infraction, they're not going to support me because it would be racist or it would be unfair to the poor. So we have a whole alternate universe in California, and it involves very million people that don't follow the law. I can buy anything that you and I have on or we're eating today within a 5-mile radius at a rural crossroads. I can buy a shovel, I can buy a milkshake, I can buy jeans, I can buy a bicycle. It's all off the record. There's no sales tax. I don't know where it comes from. And people do that. And it's like the law doesn't exist anymore. It's like 1870s.
After a busy holiday season, now's the time to make time for you. For you, think of that. Whether you want to refresh your fitness routine or you just want to enjoy some relaxation, a Michael Phelps signature swim spa by Master Spas can be something you enjoy now and for the seasons to come. Making time for yourself, even if it's a 20-minute swim or sitting in the hot tub seats in a Michael Phelps swim spa, can be incredibly beneficial to your mental health. And that is what Master Spas is all about, helping you live life better. A Michael Phelps swim spa combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. It comes in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small one. Exercising in the water is a great way to include physical activity into your daily life. It's fun, and it's really kind of easy. I mean, you can make it hard, but you can do this in a way that's kind of easy exercise and convenient exercise for you. And that's true whether you're a beginner or a fitness enthusiast, because you can crank it up. Michael Phelps swim spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. A Michael Phelps swim spa is energy efficient. You can use it all year long. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK to save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps swim spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. Masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.